Okay, so I'm going to take a ride through of Kermit from top to bottom from an accessible point of view. So we went back in April, and it was a beautiful sunny Friday. Unfortunately, the rest of the weekend and the days afterwards just didn't quite make it. So I've got an assistant with me riding here.
He's here.
And that's Si's in the background. As you kick off down Kermit, it is pretty smooth. It's pretty open. It's not super wide for an accessible rider, but it's not too bad. However, you come around to this switchback right away, and it is literally kind of like 180 degrees. So you have to go much higher and to the left than I managed, and then ride around the top of that berm. Coming into this probably takes a bit of practice. The G-trike's quite high, so I was a bit nervous, and Si helped me just get around it. So, following on, it is really nice, rolly. It'll be good to get yourself in a high-powered gear, and also in like 5 or 6 if you're running a Bafang motor. Got some weird rest stops at the beginning, which are signposted, so you can pull over, which is strange. But I guess if you've maybe cycled all the way up to the top and you want to rest, I don't know. Now, these trees are pretty narrow. What I definitely recommend is get some sunglasses or glasses that are going to cope with the dappled sunlight. If you're on a day like this, or if you've got a rainy day, some clear glasses would be good. Now, the G-trike is pretty wide, but you can see I'm getting through everything here. Occasionally I'm having to aim for some shorter tree stumps just to roll over them. You can see I'm tight round this and then through, and again some more rest stops, so if you're slowing anybody else up, you can just pull over. What I definitely would recommend as a rider needing assistance is just take it really steady the first time down. Obviously, if you've done it before, great. If you're doing it blind, you need to kind of get a sense of how you can take things, how fast you can take things. Some of the berms are quite off camber, and honestly it's difficult because speed is your friend sometimes, and I found that going a bit quicker and feeling a bit more out of control was actually the right way to get around some of these berms. Okay, so we took a brief stop and we're rolling on down Kermit. These berms are pretty good, and then you come down through this lovely wooded section that sort of snakes back and forth down to the road you can see there on your left. There is very narrow bits, but you can still see I'm getting through okay. For some weird reason, I prefer left-hand turns to right-hand turns. I think it's because my brake is under my right-hand arm. And yeah, just a bit nervous here, hopping up and over, and you can see I'm just skirting some tree stumps there on the sides. And I have sped up the video because I'm going incredibly slowly, really. But it's my first run down in Bike Park Wales, and I just wanted to not injure myself immediately. I did that later on in the day. This opens up a bit more nicely, a little bit wider. You've still got some berms, but actually they're not so steep, so they don't cut back right or left so heavily. And again, coming into this left-hand one, I've got a bit more confidence to lean into the left because I can lean out the trike. So Kermit's the longest run, and actually it's a really nice flow trail, so even if you're an experienced rider on a normal bike, it's a great ride. So we just pulled up here in rest area 5. This was just to let a rider past. So if you're on a trike, normally I would say you're going to need 2 or 3 people with you. I just did this with one person, Si, and we did manage it fine. It's not ideal on such a wide trike because when you get down to some of the roads where the uplift is going past, the gates are pretty narrow. So Sire, bless him, had to do some extra work to get me through. As you can see, it's got a lovely flow, and you just got to pick your lines. Again, coming around to a tight switchback, I got right on top of that one a bit better. And then it flattens out a bit here as you're coming down towards the road and the uplift road. But it's nice, it's a nice vibe. And what I really regret is not practicing this several times. Now, this is a possible escape route here down the right hand side. I'd have to stop properly and look, because as you come down to the end of the first section of Kermit, you can see already there's some fencing to stop people zooming across the road and getting hit by the uplift. So that's why the fencing's here, to slow people down. But as you can see,
Yeah, I'm okay.
so you've got these fences that are quite tight, and obviously trying to get round to there in G-Trike or any other maybe adapted truck is a little bit narrow. So I've got Sire at the back of me just wheeling me round. If I was a bit more confident, I might have done a big skid to try and swerve the back end round, but even so, you need another rider. Now, I was talking about this escape route, so I can see this section here just coming out of the woods with a big exclamation sign, and I think adapted riders probably can cut through there and you might save yourself from being stuck. However, you've got to be really careful of the uplift road. So this section here is a bit of a gentle uphill as you come back into the trees and then start to drop through the trees and into Kermit again. It's kind of like a short section between the road through the wall, and you can see the hillside start to drop off again. So I took this really steady because I just didn't know what I was facing. You can see the drop-off's quite big, so I was a bit nervous on the left-hand side, thinking, well, how far? And you can see the uplift road going along there as well, so it's not too bad. And then I can follow on this track. It's not quite single track, it's a bit wider. A lot of the time my wheels are running into the grass a little bit off things, but it's okay, and it's actually a really pleasant ride down here. You could probably take it at quite a pace. I kept on the brakes quite a lot because it's my first run through. Again, you've got some rest areas, some stop areas along the way, and it gives you some warning signs about road ahead and things like that. So it's pretty smooth on the whole. There's a few berms that the camera flattens out, but you can kind of ride down Kermit pretty nicely. We pulled over again just to let that rider through. Again, a bit more of a pedally section you can see I'm back onto. So yeah, definitely the challenge of having power on your Bafang or similar motor mid-drive is when you're up at 5 or 6, it kind of tanks you forward quite quickly in some sections, and it can be a bit nerve-wracking, but equally you want a bit of flow on these, so keeping your pace high. Again, it's just a case of run down Kermit 2-3 times. Yeah, so coming down to the second fire road break with the uplift road going past, this one is a lot tighter. You can add a little look to the right there because there seemed to be another trail coming down, but you can see basically there's an assistant needed in that section to get through that, just to lift the back end round and pull me through. So again, a bit of a recce if you don't have anybody that's physically strong to bring you through. But ultimately, as an adapted rider, you're going to probably end up having at least 1 to 2 assistants. But I only rode with one person on an e-bike down here, and we quite happily got down. Got another flat pedally section. It's not too bad. Some nice up and down rising. It's quite interesting because it's got some narrow bits, some turns, and you can have a little bit of fun down here. You can see the uplift road coming. As it gets along this section, you drop down with a fence on your left. And again, I wasn't quite sure, but it's over 1 metre in width. So there wasn't too much of a problem. Okay, coming down to these berms, it steepens up a bit. And again, I wasn't sure of what it was going to look like. So I let it roll a bit here, but then coming down here, you've got a sharp left. And again, it drops down some nice rollers that you can drop down over this berm. I was a little bit nervous of, but actually I just about got it around. So I think if you were on a front wheel trike that was front wheel steering, there's a bit of a warning sign there. This one was okay though, but you're just coming down with riders that are coming out on your right hand side. Again, you can tell even though I've sped up the video, I am trundling down nice and steadily to work this out. Again, don't have any problem with left hand turns, it's just right hand turns. I don't know why. I'm looking as far around the corner here as I can just to get round. I think that might be what it is. Okay, so we're coming to the end. You can see the riders coming down the right hand side on one of the other trails. They are separated, but yeah, definitely be careful, definitely look around here because it merges. And I don't think riders are necessarily going to be looking for a low trike coming in.
Sorry.
Again, the berms are quite steep here. Wasn't quite sure what was coming. Then you kind of have to judge your speed a little bit the first run down. Okay, so you're basically at the end of Kermit now. And around this last sort of outbuilding, you can see these signs on the left-hand side at the bottom. You actually need to approach this with quite a lot of pace. I just didn't know what was coming, and then you come around the corner, you've got a steep incline out at the other side. And I've just cut the video there so you can see you've got this left and right section that you'll have to drag somebody will have to drag you around and through it. And then you're back into the bike park, cafe area. Lots of riders sitting around getting in the way, bikes parked up everywhere. And people not realising that I'm a big old truck trying to come through.